I think to a very objective person, if you're just going to compare, which I was doing, compare the art styles, the old Miyazaki art style to that one, I think it's pretty clear that one image is superior in terms of overall quality and appeal. It's just the
and Mike S. Miller doesn't even say anything because you don't have to say anything. These are just pictures. You can just look at it and you can see that if you have unless you're someone who is blind, you know, in like a spiritual sense and an artistic sense, maybe, you know what I mean? You can't tell. You're going to just go, oh, there's nothing beautiful about this because it's a cartoon, you know, because it's got kind of like simple shapes. It's not super highly realistic. It's not like extremely rendered, you know, just that's something you'd say, like, if you're just like a blind Philistine, you know, and you wouldn't know. And there's not really anything to debate about it. You're just like, oh, well, you know, like, if you can't tell me what the color green is because you've been blind your whole life, I can't explain it to you. Like, imagine arguing with a blind person. They're like, there is no color green. It's like, yeah, no, there is. And they're like, no, there isn't. It's like, well, you've been blind your whole life, but how do you even explain it to someone?
Nostalgia people have for Miyazaki, which gets them really defensive, and the hate for AI art.
Well, people love his style. That's the thing. You're crapping on something that's a subjective opinion.
But his style isn't anything special. There are so many other animation studios.
There
are so.
That is like so dead set on what he believes that he can't hear what other people are saying, which is something that you're going to see with this clip of Zachary Levi. Because like Zachary Levi is going to be talking about some things, and Shadiversity doesn't hear what Zachary Levi is saying. You know, Zachary Levi from Shazam, he just hears what he wants to hear. He just kind of is constantly just trying to find validation for his opinions in whatever way. But it was pretty funny because Zachary Levi basically ends up just totally destroying him. So as you guys might remember. Like what we were just showing, those little clips of Shadiversity where he was trying to demonstrate that it's objectively true that Studio Ghibli is not good, that the style's not good, yada, yada, yada. But Shad wants to show what like actual art is. He created an amazing creation, he says. And this is something that we're going to analyze now. So Shadiversity, he says, I've been watching a lot of isekai anime lately. Solo leveling is the best. And now the funny thing that I've heard overwhelming from a lot of people in my audience is people have been going, that's not even an isekai anime. And I don't know what isekai anime is exactly. Kind of from what I've gathered, it's something sort of like the Chronicles of Narnia where you get transported to a new world, but I'm not 100% sure about that, right? And then they're like, solo leveling doesn't even follow in that genre. So that's like just the first sentence. He just says something that's not true at all. So anyway, and it put me in the mood to illustrate an anime style fantasy adventurer, and I had a lot of fun working with a more animated style with bigger eyes. So I love how he keeps saying style because he thinks it makes him sound like an actual artist. Like he should just buy a beret, He should just buy a beret and he should just kind of parading the streets with his beret and his paintbrush and his palette and just act like he's a real artist, And he should talk like this. And people will be like, oh, okay, can you paint me? And then like he'll hand him, some type of abomination at the end. So anyway, he says, my favorite parts are her smile and her expression, which I needed to shape manually as everything else in the image. But the smile took the most work. And we're going to zoom in on the smile in a second. I put in extra effort to the background of this one, and I love her sword and shield and armor. And I love how he's admitting to putting extra effort into this image. Ugh, not a good move, Shad. And I love her sword and shield and armor, which I designed myself. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Shad. You designed this yourself. Let me put this on my fridge. Which shouldn't need to be said that people just assume that AI does all the work when it's quite the opposite with how I make my images. And by the way, if I made an image like this, I'd be like, that was just AI. I swear, I didn't alter it in any way. I literally made a 3D model for that sword, and I love its design. I'm glad you love it, Shad. I'm glad you love it. I think I'll illustrate a companion for her and add him to the image. A companion? And she's like 15. And that kind of, when he's like, I'm going to illustrate a companion, it's like, really? Really, Shad? You want to go there? She's like a teenager. Let's look closer at what this character looks like, okay? Let's zoom in. Let's look a little closer at this, okay, guys? Do you see this? She's like a teenager. She's wearing this little skirt that just barely covers, the no-no area. She has these muscular legs. And then that smile, which he says I am the most proud of her smile. I am an artist. Look at that smile. This smile has given me nightmares for months now. I made the mistake of having this on my computer. My 3-year-old nephew was visiting, and he saw this picture, and he started crying uncontrollably. And every night he calls me, he says, "Uncle JJ, I keep seeing the smiley girl. I can't fall asleep." He has PTSD. His parents haven't even come to visit me anymore because every time they drive by my house, he breaks into these fits of panic and fear. He starts to like hyperventilate. It's that bad. That's how bad this image is. So, but Shadiversity was proud of this. And it's like when you're talking to a guy like Shadiversity and he has zero self-awareness, he can't understand it all. Again, it's like trying to explain the color green to a blind man. You can sit there all day and the blind man will tell you that the color green does not exist. That's what he'll tell you. But that's just because he has because he's blind. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So let's take a quick look now. Let's go back to this part with Zachary Levi talking about AI.
To hold that line. And I believe that when we do, we accomplish two great things. One, philosophically, we are doing what we ought to be doing, which is safeguarding human art and entertainment for ourselves, for our children, for future generations. Like, I want my kids to grow up in a world where they at least have the option to be paid as an artist. If everything is just ubiquitous AI, everything, then why would any kid learn how to play guitar again? Why would any kid learn how to be an actor or anything that the AI can just go, just done? Why would they do it if there's no actual financial incentive that might underpin that on some level? But also, economically speaking, I think it is a successful business model because when the rest of the industry is all zigging and everyone's offering for pennies on the dollar the ability for anyone to go make whatever they want with AI, they're just like right now, how many vinyl record sales have gone up in the last 10 years because deep in all of us, there's this but I want the real. Where's the real?
And it's not just like wanting the real thing. It's also like, I want to go back in the day, to a simpler time where this stuff didn't exist. That's what people are craving.
Where's the human, tactile, imperfect thing? I want that thing, or even organic food. Like, that's not the majority of the food that we can get, but a lot of us are like, that's the only food I want. And if I have to pay a little bit extra money so I can get the real stuff, the organic stuff, the stuff that's not poisoned, then yes, I would like that, please. So that's the vision of Wildwood. It's a movie studio, living community that's amenitized like a resort where people can come and visit. We can do all kinds of fun, immersive, artistic storytelling using. There's a lot of things I won't get into now, but I mean, lots of fun details with that. And then letting that be hopefully a place that is giving artists a truly libertine place to work that's also safeguarding our jobs against what is going to be a flood of ubiquitous AI.
Well, you've said some things that I do find heartening and encouraging. I'm kind of the AI guy on that.
Yeah. Shad, you and me both, Shad.
That's funny. You sound like a real human.
Shad.
It's kind of interesting the way that Zachary Levi kind of furrowed his brow. I almost wonder if maybe somehow he already knew about Shadiversity's AI takes, just vaguely. Like maybe he saw something on Twitter or something. I don't know. I mean, millions and millions of people saw it.
Under a couple minutes, Shad.
I will. But you've said something that I've actually echoed quite a lot, that I think the best uses of AI will come from artists who have the vision and know how to, actually produce the best quality stuff. They will make the best stuff with AI going into the future. And so I find it heartening that you're not wholly against that. You can see that there are use cases absolutely that'll take away certain monotonous tasks and free up production chains and stuff like that. And so I find that really, really great to hear. And it's encouraging, honestly. Going into
what's encouraging, Shad? Shad's like basically saying, you know, I am an autist. Like, I am the next Zachary Levi. All I need is AI to equal out the game. That's all I need. I am an autist. Isn't that right, Zach? Am I an autist? And then let's see what Zachary Levi has to say.
I actually didn't say that. I think, was that Ryan who said that?
You can take credit for my good ideas.
But no. Well, but listen. Here's the thing: is that I don't know that I believe that. Like, I would love to believe that the most talented people will utilize AI.
He's just like, real quick, I am not affiliated with that. But he's also like, wait, why are you saying I said that? I didn't say that. Like, what was Shad doing? Was Shad like daydreaming? Like, he just sees Zachary Levi and he imagines himself wearing a white dress. He's at the Sistine Chapel. He slowly turns around and then he sees like Zachary Levi strutting down the aisle, you know, and then Zachary Levi lifts him up. He carries him off in his arms, and then they ride off to go make art. I think that's maybe what was going on in Shad's mind. So he like didn't hear what was happening.
Again, AI is about to fucking eviscerate everything. It's going to eviscerate everything. For years, I've been banging this drum, and people kept saying, "Oh man, like you're just an alarmist, and it's going to be fine." But the exact example, not even like a general example, but the exact example I would use constantly was very soon, studios, and I would use Disney as the example. It's not that they themselves are going to be making a bunch of AI content right out of the gate. They will let you, the audience, make it. They will let you have access to their entire library of IP, and you can go and mix and match whatever you want.
The same thing with social media. I feel the same way about AI. Is it going to allow people who never would have had an opportunity before because they didn't have this connection or that connection, whatever, make something and like put their visions out there or put their thoughts out there, like on social media, and other people can see it? Yes. But it also just so happens to be that only about 1 in every 1,000 people have anything worth actually putting out there. Most people suck at this. Most people suck at everything. So what you're going to be left with is this swarm, this massive just AI slop and sludge that people are just pushing out. And yeah, that's where Disney is at creatively. They can't do anything other than remakes or sequels at this point in time. No original ideas. So go to the audience for your remashed remake AI slop idea, and you pay us for it. How about that?
But so you know, going back to answering the question of what is the vision for Wildwood, the vision of Wildwood is to be one of the last bastions that holds the line and safeguards certified organic human art and entertainment made by free range artists. You know, like, it's not that we won't utilize AI to make things more efficient and optimized. There's plenty of, you know, time-consuming tasks that you want to offload that from your human so that they can have more bandwidth to do more creative things. So I'm not like anti-AI entirely. I think in a vacuum it's fine, but how it will be applied to this industry and every other industry is what we must be very careful with. And so when it comes to Wildwood, it's not just all of the things I talked about previously.
Yeah, so anyway, that's basically Shad like was misattributing what Zach said, or what Ryan said to Zachary Levi, which is really funny. He's like, you said this, and then Zachary Levi's like, no, Ryan Cannell said that.
About which might
the only thing that Zachary Levi was saying you could use AI for is maybe just getting rid of certain minute details that you don't really want to do anyway. You know?
Literally children that will say to this AI, they'll say, I want a hippopotamus and a dolphin that go and they slide down the rainbow and they go and then they're in space and they, you know, I mean, this is, I don't know what child this is exactly.
Why did you choose a retarded child for this?
Yeah, very silent Jeremy a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so right there when Ryan was like, why did you choose a retarded child? Like, Zach actually was like, he wasn't like doing that fakely. He was actually like pretty pissed. Let me go back. I think it's important to watch that interaction. And it was just like a normal kid, really. You know, that's just how kids at a certain age, they kind of sound funny. So
then they're in space and they, you know, I mean, this is, I don't know what child this is exactly.
Why did you choose a retarded child for this?
Yeah, very silent Jeremy a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, did you see he was actually mad? He was like, why'd you say that? So that's just kind of the difference of these people, these feral 50-year-old men who are on the internet versus Zachary Levi, who's, you know, still in Hollywood.
It's a very specific child that you chose.
A very
there.
specific job. But they'll, it'll be like kind of like whatever, mishmash inputs, and then watch what the AI does. It'll make it something incredible. It'll even if it's not, Nolan level. I mean, guys, to your point, how much garbage is put out in Hollywood for the last 20 years, and people still go watch it and eat it, and they eat it up, and they eat it up. I mean, listen, I'm not trying to shit on anybody in the franchise, but I don't think the Fast and the Furious franchise is really elevated entertainment, and it is a multi-billion-dollar franchise that I'm sure plenty of you have gone and gotten lots of popcorn and ate it all up.
It's
You ate it all
family.
up, and you're telling me that a child with some good AI couldn't just be like, and then they fly to the moon in a car.
That was Shadiversity getting spanked live on air by Zachary Levi. I hope you enjoyed it. Merry Christmas. That was my that was our Christmas present from Shad. The gift that just keeps giving, and he's especially charitable at this time of year. You gotta like and subscribe, or
you are a hoe ass